I wouldn't be a member at a golf course that would accept me.
Yeah.
And they accepted both you and me.
This is how hard we work. It's a Saturday.
Yeah.
I've just come off of a very grueling match play golf at my golf club. And Lindsay Pearlman, thanks so much for joining me here this morning. Suffice to say, he's a member of the same golf club as I am, but we've never played together, probably in about 4 years. So it's great to see you, man. Good morning. Thanks for coming out.
Well, there's a saying, right? I wouldn't be a member at a golf course that would accept me.
Yeah.
And they accepted both you and me.
And that's why we can't believe we actually made it in here. Anyways, so a couple of things I just want to go through very quickly. But obviously, first, and we'll get back to that. Congratulations on your big promotion. We'll come back to it in a minute because that's quite an achievement.
Thank you.
But I want to just go back to Edge last week in Las Vegas and talk about the success that you had there. I had said this at a few events lately. I haven't seen the intensity of travel advisors and their engagement levels at any conferences in my career as high as I have seen this year. It was certainly within the last 12 months. They seem so laser focused on so many elements of the business. What's your interpretation of that, and why do you think that's so forward right now?
So I was as surprised as you were, right? We've been going through, you listen to the media, there's a lot of doom and gloom, the sky's falling. The reality of it is, the sky is not falling. From a travel perspective right now, if you look at the overall numbers, both within Canada and the United States, numbers are up, and they're up over last year. The reality of it is a lot of that type of travel is becoming more and more complicated, so the requirement of the advisor as a true travel professional has never been greater. Neat thing is with the advisors, they're now realizing what they need to make that happen and make really good money at it. So that's why we saw all that energy level. There was a ton of training at Edge this year, and we continue to build on that, right? So we had our preferred partners there in record numbers, we had members there in record numbers, and the energy levels were through the roof.
Yeah, I mean, I sat in a bunch of breakout sessions, and one of the keynotes was the AI specialist, and he went through a whole, and you could see, I mean, there was 2,000 people in the room probably there?
Yeah, there are over 2,100 people.
Yeah, so you have 2,100 people in the room as a keynote speaker talking about AI, and he was captivating them, and you could see everybody was on their phone, they're making notes. So again, I think the various elements, do you think this is almost the equivalent of what was happening with the internet, the World Wide Web in 2000, 2001, where the pressure of this looming potential, doom and gloom scenario? You think it's kind of being replicated with what's happening with AI and all the other various elements of what's going on in the world?
You bring up a really good point. Go back to Y2K, right? Remember Y2K, everything was going to stop. We were going to lose our bank accounts. It was doom and gloom. All the lights were going to go off.
Water in our bathtubs.
Right. And guess what happened? Nothing, right? Zero. So what ended up happening over time is people realized that the benefit of this tool were greater than not using the tool. This is no different. It's still a tool, right? It still needs to be run by human beings. People, the great saying I've heard lately is, you're not going to lose business to AI. You're going to lose business to somebody using AI, right? So really what it basically does, it pulls all this information in quicker, allows you to process it quicker. But the one thing that our keynote spoke about was you need to know how to use it. Yeah. So that was what was so very cool about what he talked about is, well, how do you use this to leverage and not be afraid of it? And I think many people like Y2K are afraid of it.
Yeah, well, that's why I could see the engagement level was so intense. You can see they've embraced it. They know they've got to get on it, and focusing on their niche and using the tools that are available. And you made some big announcements. Well, yeah, there's Snap, obviously for Canada, was a big announcement that went on. So tell us a bit about that and how that'll impact the members in your group.
Well, again, it's another tool, right? So here's the thing with travel leaders, right? And I like to say we do 9,000 things really, really well. If you only need 3 of them, embrace the 3. So the whole thing about Snap is really about how do you take air, car, and hotel and put them in an easy-to-use self-service system, kind of like a B2B feel to it, but B2C, I should say, but not for the consumer. Like, this tool is not being geared up for the consumer at all. It's how do you make money in selling air, which in the past people have been terrified to do. Yeah. Debit memos, all the rest of that stuff. That all goes away. So the neat thing about it, we rolled it out in the U.S., ran a couple betas in Canada. We've rolled it out in Canada now. Now, the one thing we know, Canada and the U.S. are different, right? So the way it needed to be rolled out and integrated for the Canadian marketplace were different than the U.S. Mm-hmm. So we're finally up and running in Canada. We're really excited about it. The uptake in just a very short while has exceeded what we've expected.
Yeah, what was the crazy number? It seems to, I don't remember the actual number, but it was a number that was quoted on stage that the commissions that was earned in a very short period of launch. I don't know if I'm putting you on the spot for that number, but it was a crazy number. I think it was like, I don't even remember. It was ridiculous.
It was a ridiculous number.
Yeah.
But the neat thing about the tool is, listen, the one thing that the industry is really good at is creating tools and tossing them over the fence and expecting people to use it. Mm-hmm. We haven't done that. So we basically have turned around and said, we have this tool. We built a team out that will go, and if they need to sit beside you and walk you through a booking and how it does and do it many times to get you comfortable with it, that's what we'll do. Yeah. So, flash forward to where we are now. Since we've launched this, about 15% of our entire membership base is now operating on Snap. Wow. And that's a big number, right?
Is it really?
It is.
That's a big adoption rate, do you think?
About it. You got 6,000 member agencies, right? We have 15% of those agencies that are using the tool, and there's many people within those agencies that are using it. So that's not 15% of the people. That's 15% of the entire membership base.
Yeah. Okay, got it. So yeah, I just think it was fabulous, and I was at a conference just prior to attending yours in Vegas as well, and I felt the same sort of vibe. So it's great to see, as an industry, that advisors are really stepping up, realizing, okay, this is it. So, anyways, okay, on to the big move.
The big move.
So I mean, it's wonderful. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Great Canadian boy out of Thornhill, Ontario, and everything like that. I'm gonna do a little Don Cherry there, but. But I mean, it's fantastic, And so, how did it all come about so quickly? I mean, honestly, talk about poker face. I'm there with John Lovell and you, and there was nothing. Nothing. So, congratulations.
Thank you.
What's the role how's it gonna change your life? Like, what's changes in your role and in your capacity?
Well, I'll tell you what I'm really excited about as a Canadian in this role, and it's the first time that at Travel Leaders you had to have a Canadian running this thing. I bring a very different perspective, right? Because I understand both sides of the border. So there's things that in the past that may have gone down a certain path without really taking the Canadian market into consideration. That levels out now. So you view it with a different lens. I was, to be honest, quite surprised by it. So when you say poker faces, I didn't know.
So there was no poker face.
Poker face. Yeah. So what had happened? John was presented with this opportunity with Virgin Voyages, and it's a great opportunity for him, and I wish him luck. I'll miss him. He was a great leader.
What was he? How long was he? Was 20 plus years there?
He's over 20 years with Travel Leaders in one form or another, and his leadership has been great. So I've learned from some of the best, and I'm very fortunate. So for me, it's about right now taking a look at where we're currently at and maintaining that course. And then, as I get more familiar with things and in other areas of the business that I'm not currently familiar with, we'll start doing adjustments where they kind of make sense. But we are going down that path anyhow.
Maybe a loaded question. I don't want to buttonhole you into this, but if you had to pick one market segment where you see the biggest opportunity now, and I don't mean cruise in general or river cruise in general, but there's solo travel. There's so many really niche segments that are coming out. Yeah. If you had to pick one where you think is the biggest opportunity for travel advisors, easy to get into with really low barriers to entry, what would you pick?
I wouldn't. Because if it's easy to get into with low barriers,
I knew it.
Listen, then anybody could do it, right? You actually want complexity, because when it's complex, people need it. So this is why right now you're seeing the hot button is what? Luxury. Now, I get it, right? And it makes great taglines, but the question you need to answer or ask yourself is, well, what defines luxury for you as an advisor, right? So if you want to chase that 1% of the population, understand that as a luxury agent, You need to be prepared to answer that phone at 3 o'clock in the morning when your customer in Italy has missed the train and they're going, what do I do now? Right? So that defines one segment of it. If that's the path you want to go down, fantastic. Train, train, train. And when you're finished training, train again. It all changes overnight. So you need to have that information. So it's like any profession. You need to be able to peel it back, identify what you want to do, and educate yourself accordingly.
Yeah. Hard work, no matter what, always is the key to anybody's success. So, anyways, Lindsay Pearlman, new president, CEO of Travel Leaders
sir.
Network. Thanks
Appreciate
very much
it
for
very
joining us today at our joint golf club. Everybody, thanks very much for tuning in. We appreciate your support, and we love bringing these interviews to you, and hope they add value to your day. So, thanks very much, and we'll see you soon.
Thank
Thanks.
you all.